Okay, we're now here with Sargent.
Cathrin, yes.
Cathrin. And you're running for state assembly.
Yes, I am.
So tell us about yourself.
Well, what would you like to know? I'm a mother of 3. I, married, happily married for 19, years. Dated him for many years before that, and live here in Lakewood. And
Okay.
just am at a sort of a, I don't want to say a boiling point. That's a little bit too much, but just a little bit, but feeling that inaction is tantamount to just standing by and doing nothing about the state of our state.
So is this your first time running for public office?
First time running for anything or doing anything public. Always been in private, labor force and, dealing with my kids, PTA and neighborhood watch and that type of community involvement. But other than that, that's about it. I'm not a public
Why are you
figure.
running?
I've watched over the years insecurities. A lot of it has to do with school and education. A lot of it sort of started with that, and it branched off from there. But insecurities with the teachers about whether or not they're going to get pink slips this year. I mean, they went as far back as I think 10 years in Long Beach, maybe even 12 years, for pink slips last year, and this year it's completely up in the air, and it's not really, the cuts are definitely happening again. The quality has gone down, and Long Beach has been great. I was raised in the Los Angeles school district, did not want my kids in that district, came over here, loved it, thought, that's why we have such great private schools as well, because they have a really good public school system to compete against. So.
And that's in Lakewood?
Yeah, Lakewood is part of Long Beach
Okay,
also.
so it's Long Beach Unified you're
The part
talking
that I live in
about,
is Long Beach
okay.
Unified, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we also incorporate, ABC and I think Paramount. But I'm living in the part that's part of Long Beach.
So how's your campaign going so far?
Not much of a campaign to speak of, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit, I want to say social networking shy. I haven't quite even done anything on all of my little sites that I've started up, but it's gonna go how it's gonna go. I'm not spending a lot of money on this. I don't believe in that. I think it's absolutely atrocious that that people are dumping out $100,000 for a campaign. Well, so far, I think the top one in my pool spent about $47,000. I think so far. That's on record, and that's just the past statistics. They came in I think about a month ago. So he spent about $47,000, and it's almost a slap in the face of the community we live in. That so much money is going into sort of self, and it's not just the people around me, it's just in general. Look at the presidential campaign and how much money they're spending. It's really scary that you've got so many people out there suffering and having a hard time and not being able to come out of just their day-to-day job with enough money. And we're watching all of this frivolous.
What's the most important issue facing the state assembly? Or what's the most important thing facing your assembly district?
Job creation. We need jobs. We have an average of 18% unemployment rate in my district. Lakewood's doing pretty good, about 9%. Everybody else up to 710 is running about 18% unemployment. Those numbers, I don't believe, are completely accurate either. That's not counting people that have been working under the table that are now not finding work. That's not counting people that have fallen out of the unemployment system. So, who knows how much worse that number is. And so job creation is going to be huge. That's one of my major focuses. It's one of the major fixes I believe in.
How do you feel about the open primary?
I'll wait and see how it goes, but I think I like it. I think I like the idea of it. I like how it's we have the technology and the capability of saying 20 people like this person, 256 people like this person. I mean, we have that ability to be very specific, and as far as Republican versus Democrat, versus independent versus green, to me, I really think that those are just sort of titles that people try to put themselves into. I've never believed in the titles. I actually was registered as a Republican for many, many years, actually literally until December. and I switched it over to Democrat, because I knew I wouldn't run under the Republican ticket. But to be honest with you, I could be independent just as easily.
Do you think-
it's a title?
Do you think there's too much partisanship in California between the Democrats and Republicans?
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
If you're not Republican or Democrat, you don't get really a chance. So it would behoove me to stay Democrat to even consider running for office. I mean, it's unfortunate.
What do you think of the California public pension system? Is it okay? Are some of these government workers getting way too much money for their retirements? Are some elected officials abusing the retirement system? There's some local city council members or some school board members who make a certain amount of money in their retirements. What do you think about that?
I believe in pension, and as with everything else, as with our government, we need to move with the times. As things change, we need to adapt towards it. As we notice that people are abusing certain things, we need to change it around. If people are abusing Social Security, we jump on changing that. So obviously, if there's the abuse, which there is the abuse going on with pension, and even with health care reimbursements and all of these sort of reimbursement funds, that needs to be fixed. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be, taken care of. Working in the private sector, I don't have the same luxuries of those type of reimbursements. My retirement is 401k. It's based on the stock market. It would be a benefit to actually get the pension, and that's what that should be looked as. But it shouldn't be necessarily an object that can be abused. We should be able to fix that.
How much do you think the employee should pay towards their pension?
Should contribute a decent amount. I'm not sure exactly what the contribution is currently, depending on what department you're in. I know that depending on your level of employment in the government, that you have different levels of pension payout.
Say the average John Doe, should he pay 5%, 10%?
I believe the option
15?
should be open. If I feel that I can afford 10% out of my fund for my pension, and the pension shouldn't be set, it should be based on contributions, but it's similar type of a setup to like a 401k. My dad was in a pension. He's retired with a pension from a union, and it varied based on his pay. It varied based on where he was working.
In my pension, 'cause I did work for the Metropolitan Water District, which is quasi-state, and I contributed so much, depending on my salary, and then the district paid its share. But it wasn't like I paid 2% and they paid
98%, yeah.
98%. It was
It was a little more
Kind of even.
balanced. It was
It was
maybe
balanced.
60-40 or
Yeah, it was
70-30.
balanced, yeah.
And that's actually not, I should definitely contribute to my own retirement. But like I said, it is also intended to be sort of a benefit. You want to go work for our government because they're offering a pension. You want to work for any sort of public service entity because they offer something that's going to benefit you later on in life. Now, if I go into public service,
Right.
my understanding is I believe if I get into this and I don't get reelected 2 years from now, I still have full benefits
For life.
for life. Now that actually is
It's a good deal.
ridiculous. It's
ridiculous.
a great deal. Don't
Yeah.
hey, am I gonna write that? I'm like, no, take it back. No, I don't. But I would definitely be on board saying that that's not right. I put in what I get what I put in. Just like with any other job. Just like with anybody else out there.
So how can voters get a hold of you?
I'm available email.
Which is?
Vote for Sargent
Okay.
at yahoo.com.
Okay.
And then I have a Tumblr account, which is also voteforsargent.tumblr.com.
Okay.
562-443-8. Oh, I have to look at
That's okay.
973, I think is what the number is.
We stumped her on that question, Jerry.
I don't call myself. Okay. And then I have Twitter, Vote for Sargent, and
Facebook?
Facebook, Vote for Sargent, and Cathrin Sargent are is also able to be able to.
Well, we appreciate you coming in. This is great.
Thank you.
What we're going to do is we're going to keep in contact with you throughout the campaign.
Okay.
And let our viewers get to know you more on a personal level. And this is really wonderful. We thank you so much for your time today.
Enjoy the personal level. I think that's going to be the hardest thing about it, is because I'm not one of these typical public figures that has ribbon cutting ceremonies that I've been to. I'm just a Joe that works in a warehouse somewhere down the street. You know, it's not.
Who wants to go fix California?
You know, I instead of standing back and complaining, I've always said to other people at work, you know, you don't like your job, then you think you can do something better, go do it.
Let me ask you one other question. Do you think it's right that the state should take its deficit and try to balance it with more and more of the education money?
They already have no money as it is. That definitely needs to stop. And then the funneling off of some of those funds, it just, how much of that money, I would love to go through the books and see exactly where every dollar is going to. And I know I could probably just look around this office and just stack up papers and then see where everything's funneled off to.
You can start with that stack right
There's
there.
always, that would just be, you know, that would have to be like day one. Every day I think I'm going to be going through and looking at, okay, let's just start with Lotto, the basic thing. Everybody assumes everything from Lotto goes straight to education. If that were the case, I think we'd be a little bit better off, but obviously something's getting siphoned off somewhere to something that's related. Maybe, let's just say transportation, because school buses drive on the road, therefore transportation gets to hold their hand out for it. No. Let's get that back over there.
Well, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right,
very
good luck
much.
to you.
Thanks so much.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.